Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use one of the easiest armies here at Townhall 10 to 3-star any base. So here is the army composition for today's strategy, and as you can see, the troop composition itself: 10 witches, 9 bowlers, 2 golems and 3 wall breakers. It's super simple, and spamming this army in is almost going to guarantee you lots of 3 stars. So let's jump in and we'll break it down. So the first thing you're going to want to do with this particular strategy is bring in those golems. You'll see we have one coming in on either side of the base. They are going to be going out in front to do all of your tanking for you. Entering straight into a multi-target inferno though is something you will need to be careful of, but we're going to just draw a line with our finger with those witches coming in behind. We're then going to go ahead, get that skeleton spell in. So that skeleton spell, very important in this one, because it's going to draw some of the fire away from our main troops coming in. Those bowlers of course going to be coming in behind, and you want to make sure you're using that wall wrecker alongside your heroes on the opposite side of the town hall. We want to make sure it's going as far across the base as possible. So exactly like we are doing here, propelling it all the way through, opening up as many compartments as we can. We have multiple groups of witches pushing around the outside of the base as well, helping to keep our troops funneled into the core, which is exactly where we want them. Poison spell did come down just to help us deal with those clan castle troops. King and queen both making their way into the core, which is absolutely pivotal for this attack. You definitely want to make sure both of your heroes enter into the inside of the base. We're then going to have those Valkyries coming out of our wall wrecker. They're going to be able to go through, get loads of value after they take down that town hall, hopefully clear out a few of those defenses as well. Jump spell giving us access actually through to the outside of the base here, though if you don't quite get as much success from your wall wrecker as you're looking for, that jump spell gives you an additional few access points into the rest of this base. But you'll see this attack incredibly short, and we swagged both our king and our queen's abilities. So we were literally, I think it was what like 1 minute 20, 1 minute 30 for this attack, and it absolutely decimated this base. It's really strong. So let's jump in and we'll take a look at 2 more examples. So that second example we have coming through, again we have that town hall on the opposite side of the base from where we're going to be entering, but it's a super simple setup. We have the golem coming down, witches all coming in behind. You're going to want to make sure these golems are on opposite sides, and you're typically going to be entering from a flat side of the base. What I mean by this is you'll see we have the golem coming in on the right, the golem coming in at the bottom, and then all of our troops coming in between them. We don't want to be coming in from a corner section of the base like 12, 3, 6 or 9 o'clock on a clock face. We want to be coming in more from kind of like, yeah, a flat side of the base, so in between those numbers. Pushing on through though, again, we're going to be making sure that wall wrecker gets as many compartments open as we possibly can. Unfortunately, in this particular one, we do end up losing our Barbarian King's ability pretty early on. Ideally in this strategy, because we have those Earthquake Boots on the King, I believe you want to pretty much use them as you progress through into the core of the base to open up some of those back end compartments. But as we progress through, we're still going to be getting lots and lots of value from those Valkyries. Actually going to be choosing to heal and rage them up as they pop through on that town hall. Only a few defenses that could really cause us any problem on the back end here, but that queen, still with her ability, will be able to tidy them up for us. This is one of my favorite strategies down here because the town hall itself can't fight back, so you don't really have too much of a problem ever taking the town hall down. As long as your wall wrecker gets to the town hall, you're pretty much guaranteed at least a 2-star. But honestly, with the amount of spam that comes through in this particular army, there's so many troops that it's very rare that this strategy fails. So let's jump in and we'll take a look at the third and final example of this in action. So like I said in that previous one, there's a couple of things to watch out for. If you're going straight into a multi-target inferno, that's probably what you're going to be using your skeleton spell on. It's actually going to be the same with a single target inferno. Ideally, you're looking to keep those golems alive for a good portion of time, so if a single target inferno does lock onto them, you're probably going to be screwed. So if you go into a single, drop down that skeleton spell first. If it is a multi, you've got less of a concern. You're actually more concerned about your squishy troops in behind, i.e. your witches and bowlers. So as you guys can see here, we're going to get those golems out in front. We're then going to be using that wall wrecker on the opposite side of the base. Like I said, you're looking for it to go the longest route here all the way through to the town hall. Of course, as I say, we're going to use that skeleton spell on a multi-target inferno. We end up using it to actually tank for the enemy queen. However, we use it to tank for the enemy queen here because we don't want that enemy queen to lock onto our wall wrecker. So there's a couple of actually things you do need to think about, but it really is just a spam based strategy. There's not too much thinking involved. There's only one or two things you need to really consider, but that wall wrecker getting to the town hall is one of those. But as you guys can see, it's almost made it to the town hall on full HP right here. The king's ability does go off, gets a whole heap of value, opening up the entire core section of the base. We still have a good group of bowlers and witches pushing down and around this bottom section of the base. That jump spell, as you guys can see, coming in through the back end just to open up these last couple of compartments, though we probably didn't even need it. We have the giant coming out of that Archer Queen's ability. Again, if you don't have these pieces of equipment, the only one I would definitely recommend on this particular strategy is the Earthquake Boots for the King, which of course is accessible to all. As for the other pieces of equipment, there is absolutely no pressure to use the ones we did use in this video. You guys can use whatever you feel most comfortable with and whatever you think is going to give you those 3 stars. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Apologies again, I have been very unwell, so if you can hear it in my voice, my apologies, but I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.